3 weeks down. Let's go. Yeah, girl. Alright, what's up? I got my new SDSU sweatshirt on. You're gonna see me in this a lot on this channel. This is my studio sweatshirt now. Hopefully by the end of it all, it'll be all messed up and yeah, looking good with art stuff. I wrote down some things. I got 3 things I want to talk to you about today. First one is update on just this school thing. We're going to talk about update on this studio space. I made some changes that I'll show you in a second. And then what I told you I was going to talk about last time was my intentions for the next 3 years. I'm going to kind of set a flag in the ground and go, this is it. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to try as well not to talk and ramble too much. Get straight to the point. Just be like, this is it. So let's get into the first one. Update on school. Well, the biggest thing with school right now is I've relaxed a lot about expectations, what I'm supposed to do and how I'm supposed to do it. I was freaking out. The first 2 weeks, I was just like, I didn't know what was going on. I finally settled down, and the biggest piece of advice or piece of information that I found out, like, let's say you are deciding to go to San Diego State for your grad school art career. The first biggest thing to do is before you get started, figure out what it is you actually want to do and start talking to the professors beforehand so you can sign up for classes right away with the already knowing the people a little bit, because that's the piece that I feel like I missed and wasn't really advised very well with, was like they want you to explore your first year, and maybe I'm doing it right, but it just didn't feel like this semester I'm not really doing much actually physically making of stuff, which I'm kind of disappointed about. But within the class context, like I'm trying to do it on my own, which we'll talk about more later in this video, but really it just boils down to like, what did they mean by they want students to explore? And basically they want students to make things and just kind of experiment with ideas. And I was kind of taking that too literal of like doing things I wouldn't normally do. It's just like, do what you want to do and just figure out who to do it with, basically. And I just didn't know that. And again, like I said in my last video, I think coming into this, like I'm in the graphic design school, but also coming into it from it's a slightly different place. I came into it from history of fiber arts with my sewing machine, history of fiber arts, and then I'm making book arts, and I'm not really a graphic designer. I felt like this would possibly be a good fit, and I think it will be a good fit in the long run, but I didn't know. I like basically applied to a place that I felt like the work I had made sense, because I don't know if like maybe I could have applied to like the painting and printmaking department with the work I had, even though I didn't have any painting or printmaking in my portfolio. I don't know how that works. Maybe I'll fill you in on more on that in the future as well, like figuring out once I figure that out. But anyways, so basically the bottom line is I feel a lot calmer because my approach is going to be much different than I thought it was going to be. Basically the reality of what's happening now is totally different than what I thought it was going to be. Let me say what I thought I was going to do a little bit, and then we'll talk about what is actually happening. What I thought I was going to do was do like, go to school, but also do like lots of work in this studio on my own, just making stuff, just make. Who cares about school? Just make stuff, do what I need to do for school, but just make stuff. The reality is, again, it boils down to, if you've watched any of the videos on this channel in the past about my journaling and other things, time and money have always been the 2 biggest obstacles. And those obstacles are still present right now and still are making a big impact on my ability to do this grad school thing. So it's really tweaked my head, and I've kind of changed my mind on it a little bit. So like, there's 3 main things that I need to be doing while I'm here. It's school, I have to work, I still have to make money, and I have to spend time with my family, because that's like super important. So those are the 3 main things. And then how like I'm going to approach it now that I've started to settle into it. With the school stuff, I'm just gonna focus on the classes I'm taking and just focus on those, do a good job in the classes, and then do that. With work, I think I've been trying to balance it out with, like, since I have my kids every other week, I was trying to work 2 weekends a month and then have my kids the other, basically there's 4 weeks every month. So every other week I work 1 week and then have my hang out with my kids on the other weekends. Unfortunately, now that I've done it a couple weeks, it's not quite gonna make me enough money, even though I'm just hitting it hard Friday through Sunday, 12-hour days in the car, making it happen. I make about $600, a little more than $600 a weekend. So that's about a little more than $1,200 a month, which is right on that board. There's not a lot of flexibility. Like, if I didn't spend any money on anything other than my bills, then yeah, that'd be fine. But there's other things that come up, like gotta eat every once in a while, you know, like God forbid I should actually go on a date with somebody or something like that. Like, just anything extra, wanting to go out with my kids for something, some extra treat or whatever, go to a movie, just, there's no room for anything extra. So I wanna, and then there's barely enough room for even the bills. So like, what I wanna do is start sprinkling in more time to be in the car throughout the week, because I only have classes 2 days a week, and I'm just gonna sacrifice a little bit of the studio time and just make some money for now, and like where I can fit other things in, I will. And that's the last thing. The family part is very important to me, so I want to keep the weekends I have with my kids, the time I'm having with my kids, I want to keep that the same way it's been. So like, and then the reality of it all, I think I'm doing this in all mixed up order, but the reality really is just, like I said, focus on the classes, work a little more, and then fit in the extra stuff where I can. And the extra stuff I wanted to do was like just a lot more work. I just wanted to make stuff. I wanted to be productive. I wanted to like do all this stuff. But where I'm gonna focus is I'm drawing, the drawings. So I got my sketchbook. I've been drawing. I showed you some last time, but I've been drawing in my sketchbook, which these are kind of shitty. I'm not really that happy with these drawings yet. And I went and talked to one of the painting and printmaking faculty about drawing and showed her my sketchbook, and she gave me this really great kind of idea, like the seed of an idea to basically make it personal. I wrote it up on that sheet of paper I have up there. That's just where I write down things that are important to remember, like ideas I want to remember, the intentions of what I want to do in the studio as well. But that's about it. That's first part one of this video. All right. Update on the studio space. The biggest thing I'm trying to change the space with is the how loud it is in here, the echo. So what I'm working on, I have 2 things I got going on. I have these curtains I had from my house. I've had for a long time. They've just been sitting in my closet. So I'm gonna put these up somewhere in the studio to hopefully absorb a little more of that sound. But I also bought a carpet. So there's a carpet now in part of the space right here where I'm sitting, and I'll move around when I need to move it around, but I'm just trying to bring more things into here that'll kind of absorb some of the sound so it's not as echoey and loud. I think it's already I think this carpet is actually helping already, but it's still pretty echoey. So hopefully with these videos we'll get looking a little better or sounding a little better as time goes on. But I've also brought my guitar in. I haven't tuned it, so who knows. So when I'm thinking of stuff and just chilling and kind of need some time to relax, I can just strum on my guitar and come up with some songs or something as I'm just sitting here relaxing. But also, I'm going to use it as what I was mentioning earlier with kind of making it personal, making this kind of idea of being in school personal. My guitar is very personal to me, so I want to use it as a part of my creation process. We'll see how that works out. All right, let's go on to the third part of this video, which is the intentions for the next 3 years. All right, let's talk about intentions. My intentions going to grad school. Why did I want to go? I wanted to go because I needed a change. So I decided to go to grad school. I was told by my undergrad professors, and when I was an undergrad, the grad students at that time, they all said things like, you should be doing what I'm doing. So this idea of like going to grad school for visual art was always kind of knocked around in my head. So when I got to San Diego, I was like, I need a change in life. I need to change it up. I need to figure things out. I wanted to do my music. My music is still the thing I have the most passion for is my music, playing music. But I needed to do something with my life that I could do while I still pursued my music the same way I always have. Because in order to do my music the way I think I need to or want to, it would require me to stop everything, my family, making money, all that stuff, and devote all my time to my music. And because for a lot of reasons, I'm just not like a virtuistic musician in the type that like I can sing a song somewhere and people will be like, oh my God, you're so amazing. I'm just not. So I got to put a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of commitment. I just didn't have that. I didn't have that. So I decided, you know what would I do if music wasn't available to me? I would do visual art is what I would do because I'm good at it. I'm actually better at it. I believe I'm better at making things than I am as a musician. Even though I'm super passionate about music, I love it, I'm actually better at making things. So I was like, all right, let's go to school. Let's go back to grad school. Let's make stuff. Let's do the thing. Let's see what happens. And at first I was thinking about going to school for, to become a teacher, a professor of some kind. But that's kind of like gone by the wayside. I'm not really as interested in that now that I'm here. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, whatever. What I'd really like to do is find a way to make a majority of my income off of being an artist, like actually make things that people buy. So, some of my original intentions were like, come here, do the studies, but then at the same time, overlay it with trying to make things that people will buy. What I ran into with that concept is I just don't have the time yet. Like I've said already, I don't have the time to do more than what's required of me for being in school here. What I've discovered about being in school here is they really want you to be the kind of artist that makes art to, kind of change the world, I guess, in a way, or have like thought-provoking ideas. And so it's not necessarily always going to be the kind of art that sells. So along with all that, there's another idea that I wanted to overlay this whole experience with. And it's basically like, I wanted to come at this grad school thing with this mindset of like going after. And the analogy I have of it is like the way a professional athlete approaches their sport. I'm a big football fan. You probably heard me talk about it in the past. And I want to when I listen to like the interviews and like the people that are the best, the athletes that are the best at their sport, they always talk about how much work they put into it, how much time they put into it beforehand, and how much, how late they stayed, how much film study they did, and they're just all in on it. They're just like, how much work were they willing to do versus the minimum? Like, I don't want to approach this whole idea with the minimum amount of work. I want to approach it with like going after it, going like, what's the professional athlete's version of being a, Master of Fine Arts graduate student at San Diego State University. What is that? What does that look like? And I wanted to create that, and I'm still trying to discern what that is because it's hard to. It's not a one-to-one relationship. You can't just say this is the mindset of a professional athlete and this is an artist and go boom. It doesn't quite work that way. You have to figure out how it fits together and what that means. Because what I ran into was like the first thing I ran into was this idea of the belief of an athlete when they're training for what they're doing, when they're going out, they have a game or whatever, they have an event coming up. There's always this sense of urgency. Like they have to do so many things in order to get to that point of that game every week or whatever it is. And that doesn't really happen in life. There's a little bit, now that I'm in school, there's tests here, there's papers to be due here, but it's just a different vibe. It's a different kind of idea. And I was using this term urgency. Like I want to go after this with some urgency. Like I want to do more than. I want to do it. And then when I started, like my first couple of weeks, you heard me say I was like out of my mind with anxiety and different things. And I think part of the problem was that mindset was wrong. My mindset was wrong. My mindset was like urgency oftentimes can be aligned with like a frantic notion. Like there's not enough time. There's like, you gotta, it's urgent. Oh my God, let's go. We're going to be behind schedule kind of. So I changed my mindset, I changed my thought around it to this idea of setting intention, like having intention about what I do. It's not about urgency, it's about being intentional. So that's what I'm approaching. Like I want to approach this kind of time I'm here at San Diego State University with intention, like make sure I'm on top of all my reading that I have to be doing, make sure I'm, going to meetings and meeting people and just like don't take it for granted and just be on top of it, like always doing stuff. So for the next 3 years, how am I going to take that intention and move forward with it? I'm still trying to figure that out, but for now, the way it seems, because of the time, because I don't have as much time to do as the things outside of the classwork as I hoped I would, I'm just gonna go focus on the classes, focus on the work that I'm doing, and go all in on that as much as I possibly can. And that's the way I want to approach a lot of the stuff going forward, is how can I do the stuff that I'm doing in class as more than, obviously I'll be documenting everything I possibly can, but I won't have a lot of time for doing more projects that it seems than what I'll be required to do for class, just because I have to spend time making money and I want to spend time with my family. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. All right, that's it. I think I did it. First 3 weeks of grad school, that's what it's been like so far. And if you have any questions for me, please let me know. It's the_Zim@hotmail.com, and of course comments on this video. And I'd love your support, so be sure to subscribe to the channel, thumb it up, share it out with your friends if you think it's cool. And of course there's patreon.com/thezim. Check it out. All right, till next time, be excellent to each other, be loving, kind, and patient with each other. Peace.